Hello everyone. We have understood what exactly the hot code paths are there and how to optimize those block of codes. Okay. So we have covered the things like how to understand the hot code paths, how to recognize them by using flame graph, and what are the different examples in which we have to perform optimizations and all. So database queries, we have to use the projection. Then are there some complex computations are there. So in case of a complex computations, either use the caching, or if you have a repeated queries or block of queries, go ahead with the batch processing. If you have a mixed kind of a task which having synchronous as well as asynchronous functionalities, then go ahead with the value task. And now we are on the read only sequence. Okay. So read-only sequence is nothing but a struct introduced in ASP.NET 2.1, and that represents the read-only sequence of elements. Obviously, it's a read-only. We can read from it, and it will be little faster. And it's designed to perform a uniform API for working with continuous and discontinuous sequences of a memory without requiring copying or allocation. So zero copy operations, it allows processing of a data without copying, which is crucial for performance in a hot code paths. Now, it is memory efficient. How? It can represent a large amount of data without requiring it to be in the continuous memory. Next one, advantage is the flexibility. It can work with the various backing stores like array, memory pools through the uniform API. It improves the performance. It is designed for the high performance scenarios with method optimized for the both small and large data sets. Reduces the allocation. It helps minimizing the garbage collection pressure, and by reducing the need of a temporary buffers. Now, efficient parsing for the large payload. What exactly? It gives you advantage while we are parsing the large payload. So basically, read-only sequence covers zero copy operations, memory efficiency, flexibility, performance, and reduce allocations. So read-only sequence is nothing but a powerful tool for optimizing the hot code paths, and particularly when dealing with the large data sets. Okay, it reads fastly, it reads fastly. It doesn't copy the operations and streaming scenarios or custom protocols. By its zero copy and memory efficient designing, developers can significantly improve the performance in critical parts of their applications. Now, efficient parsing of a large payload. So in a ASP.NET applications, we normally parse the large amount of JSON or XML payloads, right? So it's a common hot code path. We are reading the huge amount of data, we are processing it. So in that case, read-only sequence can optimize this process. If you want the examples, it is already available in a notes part. So you can go ahead and just visit those examples for how to use the read-only sequence. Efficient in a stream processing. When dealing with the large file uploads or a downloads, we can use a read-only sequence. So there is an example here. We are normally performing the task by means of a normal readers and writers, and you just check the performance by using some tools, and you just use the read only sequence and check the performance, how much time and how much memory it. So obviously you will observe that it will be it reduces the allocations and handle the memory very efficiently. So that examples will demonstrate you how the efficiently read only sequence will process the large file upload, and the pipe API allows for streaming processing without loading entire file into the memory. So Efficient network protocol handling is performed by read-only sequence. Lots of huge number of advantages are there of a read-only sequence in case of a hot code paths, and we can understand and optimize those things by using read-only sequence. Now, there are some additional optimization techniques are there like asynchronous programming, parallel processing, minimal use of APIs, compiled queries are there, proper indexing, lazy loading, output caching, and microservices. So use the techniques as per your requirement, as per the product or project requirement. Uh, to effectively address the hot code paths in your ASP.NET application, use profiling tools. Okay, so we already saw one profiling tool suggested by the ASP.NET. Next one is analyze frequently accessed endpoints and resource intensive operations. By applying appropriate optimization techniques based on a specific bottleneck, measure the impact of your optimization to ensure they effectively work. Regularly monitor your application's performance to catch new hot code paths as they emerge. So, in short, you have to analyze, review your code, review the performance of your code on a particular periodic basis to understand the hot code paths and to recognize them and to manage them optimizely. So remember, optimization is an ongoing process. So it's not like once you have done, it's perfectly all right, and every time you don't need to touch the code. As I suggested, review your code on a periodic basis. It's a ongoing process. So as your application grows and evolves, the new hot code paths will emerge, and you require continuous attention and optimization for it. Now, next, designing performance for the hot code paths requires some enablers. So if you are build foundations like library kind of a libraries and art or tools, any kind of a tools, it's good to think about the various vectors and cases that they might be used in it. Sometimes enables one hot code a hot path optimization does not clutter the design that much and can be greater enabler in a future. So you just uh, cover that particular thing, review the code, find out some important block of codes, okay, done the performance efficiency over there. But in future, maybe a huge amount of another hot code paths will emerge, and uh, you just have to look after that things. So by identifying, optimizing the block of code which are critical, you can significantly improve your ASP.NET applications performance and scalability. Regular profiling and monitoring are nothing but a key to identify these bottlenecks and measuring the impact of your optimization. So there are some techniques which are suggested by the ASP.NET documentation itself. So let me show you one of them. So there is a one page assigned for it. I hope that it is visible. So identify hotcode paths with a flame group and which is available. So you can go through it, you just investigate and you just follow the step by step instructions, and you'll get to know what exactly and how to use the flame graph to understand the performance on now. So like flame graph, there are other tools also. If you are comfortable with that tools, you can go ahead. But some kind of a profiler performance measuring tools or criteria should be there to understand the hotspot. So let's go ahead with the next topic for the best practices, and that is nothing but a written large collections across the multiple smaller pages. So when we fetch data will be the huge amount of data, and it's not like we are sending the data, whole data in a one pack. We just differentiate and group that data into a number of boxes or pages or kind of a things. Okay, so in such a way, we transfer the huge amount of data into the smaller pages. So a web page shouldn't load the large amount of data at once. So when returning the collection of an object, consider it could be lead to the performance issues. So determine if the design could produce the following poor outcomes. So what are the different ways or exceptions or errors may occur when you are sending large amount of data over or to the UI? So out of memory exceptions or high memory consumptions will be there because you are sending large amount of data. There is a thread pool starvation, slow response time will be there. So it's taking so much of time to load, iterate, access or responsive. Frequent garbage collection. So do add pagination. What is the solution? We just add the pagination to militate the preceding scenarios and use the page size and page index parameters to divide the data, and developers should favor the design of returning partial result. So instead of sending the whole result in a one response, we can divide the result based on indexing based on the page size, and when the exhaustive result is required, pagination should be used to the asynchronously populated batches of a result to avoid the locking and server resources. For more information, we can go ahead with this particular 2 pages performance consideration and add the pagination to the ASP.NET app. So let's visit add pagination. So this thing you will get in under the ASP.NET Microsoft documentation. So there is a data access group. Is there under that tutorial? Entity, framework, core, and resort pages, get started, then how to create, read, update, and delete the data, sort, filter, page, and group the things. So under that, you will able to see add the pagination. So in this section, paginated list class is created to support the pagination. And paginated list class uses skip and take statement to filter the data on the server instead of retrieving all the rows of a table. So you can see the example. Okay, so there are three datas are there, and for that next you will be to see that there are some next the button is there. So here you can add paginated list, then you can mention the index, total number of pages, how many are there, then or how much amount of data you can display over there, so you can iterate. So create an async method in a preceding code and takes page size and page number and applies the appropriate skip and text statement to iQuery table. So the iQuery table has our data, and based on the defined index, we can just add the skip and task method and add the pagination to the huge amount of data. In such a way, we can transfer the large amount of data to the smaller or multiple smaller pages. Next, performance considerations. Now, under this particular topic, we can see in general, a web page shouldn't be loading an arbitrary number of rows. Okay, a query should use a pagination or limiting approach. So you can see that take 10. So we are fetching the data. We are just taking the 10 number of rows, and limited thing we can just add the next page. So enumerating a large table in a view could return a partially constructed HTTP 200 response. So it is success, but the loading data taking so much of time and database may occurs kind of exceptions or errors. So if a database exception occurs part way through the enumeration. So paging it cover this particular tutorial. You can go ahead with this link, performance considerations. So these all topics are considered related to the database performance. So this whole topic we will cover in the next to next section. Okay, database optimization. So this topic will be covered over there. Still, if you want to go ahead, you just visit this particular link and just go ahead with it. What are the different bottlenecks are there, measures are there, okay, aspects of data access and its performance, how to iterate, how to fetch the data very efficiently, what's happening under the hood, cache and all. So these things you can go ahead if you are interested now. Otherwise, we are going to cover these things in the next session as well. So let's go ahead with the to return a large collection across the multiple smaller pages in a ASP.NET, you will want to implement pagination, and here are some concise view how to do it. Use link queue query and to your data source with skip and take method. As we have seen in a on the documentation page also, we use the take 10. Okay, 10 it means it fetch the 10 rows and it's get display over the UI. Create a page list class and to hold the page data and metadata. Implement a controller action that accept page parameter. Use the view model to pass the page data to the view and create a view with the paging controls. So first of all, fetch the data with the mentioned skip and take methods. Then you can add that particular object to the page list class in the form of page data and page metadata. Then we have to implement that into the controller by accepting the page parameter. Similarly, we just send that to the by controller to the view, and in a view we have to add those control like next button, previous button, or 1 2 3 4 pages you want to display or not. So accordingly, in this way we can add the pagination. Next is avoiding blocking calls. Okay, so these things we will cover in a next video. So hope that you all are doing well, and I'll stop here and see you in the next video.